The airport was louder than usual, or maybe it just felt that way because everything inside him had gone silent. Rolling suitcases rattled across polished floors, boarding announcements echoed overhead, and strangers rushed past with purpose, but he stood still, staring at the entrance doors like his entire future was supposed to walk through them. She was late. Not just a few minutes late. Too late. He checked his phone again. No new messages. No missed calls. Just the same last text. I'm on my way. Don't overthink, okay? That had been 45 minutes ago. A tight smile formed on his face, the kind people wear when they're trying not to fall apart in public. Around him, couples hugged, families laughed, and friends took selfies before departures. Everyone had someone. He had doubt. Still, he waited. Because that's what you do when you love someone. You wait, even when your gut is screaming at you to walk away. His fingers tightened around the boarding pass. This wasn't just a trip. This was supposed to be their new beginning. A fresh start in another city. A chance to leave behind the fights, the insecurities, the constant shadow of a past. Especially him. Her ex. He had tried not to think about it. Tried to believe her when she said it was over. Tried to ignore the late-night messages she would quickly hide, the sudden mood swings, the way his name would sometimes slip into conversations like a ghost that refused to leave. But today was supposed to prove everything. If she showed up, it meant she chose him. If she didn't. He swallowed hard, forcing the thought away. She'll come, he muttered under his breath, as if saying it out loud would make it real. Minutes stretched into something heavier. The departure board flickered. His flight status changed from on time to boarding soon. And still, nothing. That's when his phone buzzed. His heart jumped. He answered immediately. Where are you? There was a pause on the other end. A long one. Then her voice came, softer than usual, almost fragile, but not in the way he remembered. Not loving. Not warm. More like distant. I can't make it. The words didn't hit all at once. They sank slowly, like something cold spreading through his chest. What do you mean you can't make it? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady. I'm sorry, she said. Something came up. Something. He let out a short, disbelieving laugh. We are leaving today. You said this was important. You said we were important. I know, she whispered. That whisper told him everything. His grip on the phone tightened. Is it him? Silence. And in that silence, the truth screamed louder than any answer. He closed his eyes, exhaling slowly, trying to hold on to whatever was left of his composure. You went back to him, didn't you? It's not that simple, she said quickly. It is that simple, he replied, his voice sharper now. You either get on that plane with me, or you don't. Another pause. I'm with him right now. There it was. No excuses. No lies. Just the truth, raw and unapologetic. Something inside him cracked, but strangely, it didn't feel like pain. Not yet. Just emptiness. He nodded slowly, even though she couldn't see him. Okay. That's it, she asked, almost confused. You're not going to say anything else. What do you want me to say? He replied. That I understand. That I'm happy for you. That I'll wait while you figure out who you want. His voice dropped, colder now. I'm done waiting. She inhaled sharply. Please don't do this. Don't do what? He cut in. Respect myself. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The final boarding call echoed through the terminal. Passengers for his flight began moving toward the gate. He looked up, watching them go. A choice stood right in front of him. Stay, and keep chasing someone who already walked away. Or leave, and never look back. I loved you, he said quietly. I still. He hung up before she could finish, because whatever she was about to say didn't matter anymore. For the first time in a long time, he felt something stronger than heartbreak. Clarity. He slipped his phone into his pocket, picked up his bag, and started walking toward the gate. Each step felt heavier than the last, but also freer. No more second-guessing. No more competing with a ghost. No more begging someone to choose him. At the gate, the attendant scanned his boarding pass. Have a good flight, she said with a polite smile. He nodded, stepping forward. As he walked down the jet bridge, he didn't look back. Not at the entrance. Not at the crowds. Not at the life he thought he was going to have. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is leave without turning around. The moment he stepped onto the plane, reality began to settle in. Not all at once, no dramatic breakdown, no tears, but in quiet, suffocating waves. He found his seat by the window, placed his bag overhead, and sat down like a man who had just walked out of his own life. The engine hadn't even started yet, but something inside him already had. Endings. Around him, people were talking, laughing, complaining about delays, normal things. Ordinary lives moving forward. But his world had just been cut in half. He stared out the window as airport lights blurred slightly, not because of tears, but because his mind was replaying everything. Her laugh. Her promises. Her forever. And then, her voice. I'm with him right now. He let out a slow breath and leaned back in his seat, closing his eyes for a moment. How long had this been happening? How many times had she chosen him while pretending to choose him? The thought didn't make him angry. It made him feel stupid. The plane began to move. Slowly at first, then faster. And as the runway lights stretched into long golden lines, something inside him shifted. This wasn't just a flight. It was an escape. A clean break. No explanations. No closure. No final goodbye. Just distance. The plane lifted off the ground, and for the first time that day, he felt something real. Not sadness. Not anger. Relief. Because down there, in that city, in that airport, was everything that had been breaking him slowly. Up here, there was nothing. No memories chasing him. No messages waiting. No one to disappoint him again. He opened his eyes and looked out at the clouds. And quietly, almost like a promise to himself, he said, I'm not going back. Back at the airport, she stood still, phone still in her hand. The call had ended. But the silence that followed was louder than anything he had said. Her ex stood a few feet away, watching her. You told him? He asked. She nodded slowly. And? He left, she whispered. There was something in her voice that didn't sound like relief. It sounded like loss. A deep, irreversible kind. Her ex stepped closer. You made the right choice. But the words didn't comfort her. Because for some reason, they didn't feel true. Her chest tightened as she looked toward the departure boards. The flight. His flight. Gone. He didn't argue. He didn't beg. He didn't stay. He just left. And that was what hurt the most. Because for the first time, she realized something terrifying. He wasn't chasing her anymore. Her ex reached for her hand, but she hesitated for a split second before letting him hold it. That hesitation said everything. Let's go, he said. She nodded. But as she walked away, something inside her kept pulling her back. Not toward her past, but toward the man who had just walked out of her life without looking back. The city greeted him with cold air and unfamiliar noise. No memories. No history. No her. Just a blank slate. He checked into a small apartment that barely felt like home, but that was the point. He didn't want comfort. He wanted distance. Days turned into a routine. Work. Silence. Sleep. Repeat. At first, the quiet was heavy. There were moments when he reached for his phone out of habit, only to remember there was no one left to call. No one to text. No one waiting. But slowly, that emptiness began to change. It stopped feeling like loss, and started feeling like peace. He began noticing things he hadn't before. The way mornings felt without anxiety. The way nights passed without overthinking. The way his mind finally rested. And then one day, something unexpected happened. He smiled. Not because of anyone. Not because of anything. Just because he could. And in that moment, he realized something powerful. He didn't lose her. He found himself. Months passed, and the illusion she chose began to crack. Her ex hadn't changed. The same arguments. The same distance. The same reasons they had broken up before. Except this time, there was no one else waiting for her on the other side. One night, after another meaningless argument, she sat alone scrolling through her phone. And there it was. His number. Still saved. Still untouched. Her thumb hovered over it. Her heart raced. Would he answer? Would he even care? Or had he truly moved on? She remembered the way he said it. I'm done waiting. At the time, she thought it was anger. Now she realized. It was final. Tears filled her eyes. Not dramatic, not loud, just quiet regret. Because she finally understood something too late. He wasn't someone she could lose and get back. He was someone she only had once. A year later, he stood at another airport. Same sounds. Same chaos. But a completely different man. This time, he wasn't waiting for anyone. He wasn't hoping. He wasn't doubting. He was just moving forward. His phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. But he already knew. I miss you. He stared at the screen for a moment. No anger. No pain. No hesitation. Just clarity. He typed a reply. Paused. Then deleted it. And locked his phone. Because some chapters don't deserve a response. They deserve silence. Final. Unbreakable. He picked up his bag and walked toward the gate. Stronger. Calmer. Free. And just like before, he boarded the plane. But this time, he wasn't running away. He was moving on. And he never looked back.